Hey guys, welcome to another ServerMiner plugin tutorial. I'm your host LGJim007 and today we look at the Animated Scoreboard plugin. So you can see it in action on the right. You can see a really cool scoreboard with tons of flashing colors and various things going on, some animations, and what you can do is customize, make multiple scoreboards, and overall it's a really great plugin and easy to use. So before we jump into the configs, we're going to look at the commands. If we do animated SB and then help, that's going to show us the commands. Now if we don't want to see it for a while, we can use the toggle command to turn it on and off. And then there's a couple of other commands. We've got the list command, so this is going to show you all of the scoreboards. Now as you can see, there's not just one, there's the global one, the default one, the admin board, and then the nether and end scoreboards, which is pretty cool. And then finally we can do the reload command if we've changed anything in the config file. So let's go ahead and jump into the config and see how we can customize it. So here we are in the SMPitney control panel. First of all, we're going to jump into the config.yml. There's not too much in here, so we have a list of all the worlds, and then which scoreboard they're going to use when you're in that world. Now, if you want a scoreboard for permission holders only, you can do this down here. So you could add admin board or global board and then have a permission associated with it. Do you want to use placeholder API? Yes or no? And then apart from that, we can just go back and jump into the scoreboards folder. So it's got all the ones in here. We were probably looking at the default scoreboard. So if we jump into this, we can see if we scroll down, it's quite long, but we have all of the animations. So you can see the way it works is it's going to run through all the lines to display the animation. You can choose it to be random, so that might be interesting if we set that to true, and then it will look very, very strange. The interval, so every X number of ticks, it will go to the next line, so depending on how quickly you want the animation to go through. And then the score, so that is just the order that it will be displayed, so make sure if it's higher, it will be displayed above the next one. And then down here, if you're using placeholder API, it will show the player's name. So then line 8, what we could do is delete all of this, and we could type something of our own and create our own animation. So I've just done a little edit there, and obviously if you scroll down you could edit the rest of this. Then if we jumped into another scoreboard, you can see it looks similar and you could adjust that to your liking as well. So now that we're back in game, if we do the animated SB reload command, it should change up. So there we go, we've got our little ServerMiner flashing, going bold, and then up at the top we've got our animated scoreboard, which is going in a completely wrong order and looking very, very odd. So looking at the spigot page briefly, you can see there are some text effects you can have where you put the text in the middle and it can have a repeat times, scroll space. You can use health and you can have a gradient. So let's check out the gradient one. So copy and paste this. Now I'm going to put it on line 14 here. And for the text, I'm going to write something random. And then we need to find two hex colors. So go ahead and copy after the pound sign so we can pop that in the first one. And then let's do maybe a darker blue for the next one. So you can see we've got cyan to dark blue, then it's going to say this is a test of the gradient, so we can save that. So I've just reloaded and you can see this is the gradient. Now maybe blue wasn't the best choice because it's a little hard to see. So here we are on the spigot page. You can see it's updated from 1.8 to 1.21, and if we scroll down there's plenty of good information. We've got the default configs, the text effects we looked at, some event triggers, frequently asked questions, and then the commands and permissions. And obviously, if you have any trouble, you can contact the developer over here. But if you need a server to host it on, check out serverminer.com for the best and cheapest hosting around. That's it for me. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you next time.